What is up, fellow YouTubers? What's crack-a-lack at YouTube? Chilling like a rock star villain. What is up, peeps? What's up, Richie Wright? It's going pretty good. That scared me, LOL. That's funny. Exhumed. So I tried rolling up the carpet pieces and the wand tubes. They didn't quite fit, so I might have to use something else. But we'll get that taken care of on Monday. I got like $104 that I could use for mailing the carpet pieces off, and that should be more than enough. But take a look at this. TYT exposed as frauds while attacking hashtag force the vote on the Jimmy Dore show. Okay, so I've watched the Young Turks for a long time. And I guess recently they got a corporate sponsorship, which I get it, but then there's just a whole bunch of shit in this video. It's ridiculous. 50 minutes long. Let's go.
So whoever tells you that this is a strategy disagreement is either unbelievably naive or covering for someone. This is not a strategy disagreement. Everybody agrees with hashtag force the vote. The people who are against it, it's
a hashtag force the vote basically is talking about forcing the vote for Medicare for all. I can't imagine why people want universal health care. I really can't. But the universal health care doesn't pay for itself. That's why a lot of people are against it, because, well, I mean, there are certain things you could do to fix the cost of it, but that's beside the point. I mean, you could legalize weed. You know what I'm saying? You could legalize weed and you could lower taxes on certain things. I don't know. There's a way to fix it, YouTube. I mean, look how much fucking money these make you. You know what I'm saying? Ridiculous. But you lower taxes for people that are middle income to lower income, or people who can't afford to pay their fair share, and you raise taxes just a little bit on the rich because they can afford, you know what I'm saying? There's no reason that these corporate fat cat 1% motherfuckers can't pay their fair share of taxes. It's ridiculous, YouTube. You got a family with 3 to 4 kids struggling to make ends meet. Both parents are working 2 jobs. And by the end of the year, they're paying the government back money for their jobs. They're paying back more money than they make. But then you get these 1% fat cats who are just sitting there rolling in it, man. They make well over 500 grand a year. They're living a pretty comfortable life. The people who can't afford it, who struggle to afford it, are the ones that are being forced to pay for taxes, while the rich assholes don't have to pay shit. Now, if I worked at a fast food restaurant for the last couple of years, I would get a tax return. But because I own my own business, I pay taxes on that every year. Got the window open. It's a little chilly outside, but I do. Cobra Craft Handmade Wands is registered with the IRS. It's filed on my taxes every year because I make enough money that it needs to be filed. And people are sitting there telling me all this shit about, oh, your business is illegal. I'm like, if my self-made business was illegal, then they would have said something by now, dude. And this is the kicker of it. Do you think these big corporations, blah, all these people who started off these major companies that we see today, Starbucks, McDonald's, Apple, Burger King, etc., all of these major corporations started off as small businesses, privately owned by one individual, and then they expanded. So do you think McDonald's was the corporate giant it is today? No, it started off with a small-time business owner, you know? I don't see Cobra Craft Handmade Wands getting that big, but big enough to keep me going, you know, and that's just the thing of it. On a more positive note, I got the PS3 to work. I figured out a way to make it so I could play it. And I got it working. I fired up Grand Theft Auto 5 for a couple minutes. And just started goofing off. I was going to find a really fast car and start doing all these crazy jumps. And then the game froze up and I was like, oh, that's all right. We're chilling on a weekend. TYT exposed as frauds while attacking hashtag force the vote. Yeah, we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic, and, you know, people are out of jobs. I can't imagine why universal health care wouldn't be needed right now. Would be needed, he said sarcastically. Well, it's ridiculous. No, it just gets me that, like, okay, I don't mind paying my fair share of taxes for my business. I don't mind paying my fair share of taxes for my business. But what gets me about that is a small business owner that makes less than $40,000. I'll make like maybe less than $6,000 a year, but that's enough. Just barely. In the past, whenever I tried to get a job, people would fuck with that because they think, let's fuck with this guy because he's autistic. Oh, this is hilarious. And all the time they'd fuck with me, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let these assholes get to me. And I persevered.
It's inexplicable. And you're not supposed to question their motives. I question their motives. Cenk Uygur's on the take. And he...
Okay, if you don't want universal health care, it's probably because you can afford decent health care. But if you were in a position where you couldn't afford it, you know...
He's working for the Democratic Party, and he's working for his corporate donors, Jeffrey Katzenberg, Buddy Roemer, right-wingers. He's against Julian Assange. He's a total fucking corporate sellout. That just happened right in front of your fucking face. And he came at people like me, who all I did was advocate for something we're all on board for. And you want to know how I know we're all on board for it? Because Cenk Uygur was for it too when it first came out. Jimmy is making a constructive effort to actually get vote on Medicare for all and unite progressives despite our differences. I love that. Even if you don't think this is a perfect way to do it, you have to agree we all have to push progressive legislators to get this introduced. Huh? 53% of Americans want Medicare for all, even after overwhelming propaganda by national media, Republicans and Democrat leadership against it. 87% of Democrat voters want it, and Democrats won't even vote on it? Anyone who tells you Medicare for all is unpopular is an unmitigated liar. So that's how it started. Look at that, December 7th. That's how it started. Cenk Uygur's all on board. Hashtag force the vote. He's all for it. This is great. We got to get a vote on it. Democrat voters want it, and Democrats won't even vote on it. That's what we're saying. That's what he's saying. That's what the squad was saying. That's what AOC was saying. That's what the D.
53% of Americans want hashtag Medicare for all, even after overwhelming propaganda by national media, Republicans and Democrats leaderships against it. 87% of Democratic voters want it, and Democrats won't even vote on it. Anyone who tells you hashtag M4A is unpopular is is basically a liar. So what could have caused Cenk Uygur to flip from supporting it to not supporting it? Nobody knows, man. Nobody knows. And I would agree to that. I mean, universal health care would be wonderful, you know? It's not uncommon to think, oh, hey, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Our country's broke. People have lost their jobs or they're out of fucking jobs. This country needs some fucking money. Colorado makes $1 billion a year off of weed. There's 50 states in this country. That's $50 billion being pumped back into the economy. It's a no-brainer. Ridiculous. That's one of the bills that's set to pass before the Congress has to go into recess. And could the United States government even begin to picture $50 billion just sitting in front of them right now? Picture it with me. Oh, look at it. 50 billion untaxed dollars. Yeah.
PSA was saying. That's what everybody was saying until we actually had a moment to do it. And then what happened? Then the executive producer of the Young Turks came out and did this. She said, well, it's one thing to debate strategies with lawmakers. My issue with Dora is that I don't believe he says anything in good faith. It's incredible to witness his rage-filled demands and so. What? So it's a great idea. We should hold him accountable. But this guy, Jimmy Dore, is a jerk. So I'm trying to make this moment toxic. That's what Anna Kasparian is doing. Anna Kasparian has health care. She got $24 million from Katzenberg. She doesn't care if you have to wait.
Yeah, that kind of makes you think, oh, that's right. Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur got this $24 million contract for the Young Turks. So now they can afford some pretty decent health care. But Jimmy Dore is over here screaming about how we need to have universal health care for all, not just the rich and the wealthy and the well-to-do in society. You know, and that's just it. At one point, Anna Kasparian and Cenk both know what that's like. At one point, before they make the money they make now, you know what I'm saying? Before they make the money they made now, you know what I'm saying? They were in a position where they couldn't afford health care, or they struggled with that, and now they can afford it. I don't get it. Why would you flip-flop on the issue when you know how it feels?
As long as she can get a personal dig in at Jimmy Dore to ruin this moment. That's insane. That's insane. That's insane. I have an idea that brings everybody.
Cheers to Jimmy Dore. Politics is insane, man.
Together, we're all supposed to be on board. And I said in my video, if you're my enemy, I forgive you. If you're the enemy of mine, forgive me. Let's get together on this. That's how I offered this. That's the spirit of this. This is what the executive producer of the Young Turks did after smearing Julian Assange. That's what they did. His rage-filled demands of some law, I yelled.
According to Anna Kasparian at Anna Kasparian, it's one thing to debate the strategies lawmakers like at AOC should take. And Anna Kasparian's issue with Jimmy Dore is that she didn't believe he says anything good in faith. It's incredible to witness his rage-filled demands of some lawmakers while he refuses to hold Tulsi accountable for a damn thing. We can make some arguments about this one, YouTube. We really could. You want to talk some real shit? People who refuse to acknowledge anything good Trump has done, they focus on all the negative crap he's done. You want to talk some real shit? Like, both sides on the political spectrum are just effed. I literally saw a crow fly by my window earlier. Like, I'm spiritually connected to crows and ravens. That's goth as shit. It literally, you know what I'm saying? Beside the point. Between the Democrats threatening to riot if Trump got reelected to the radical Republicans throwing the biggest fits and rioting on Capitol Hill, 4 people were killed, 6 plus people were injured. What the fuck, dude? You know, it just gets to a point where I'm like, dude, nobody likes a sore loser and a hypocrite sumbitch, okay? That's just the truth of it. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Into a fucking webcam. Again, she works with a guy, Cenk Uygur, whose biopic is called Mad as Hell. I'm going to show you that in a minute. And then she brings up Tulsi. Tulsi's not in the Congress anymore. What? What? I don't understand. What does Tulsi have to do? Liz Warren, by the way, I did hold Tulsi accountable for a lot. Go to Ron Paul. Jimmy Dore holds Tulsi Gabbard to account like nobody else will. That was the article. Like nobody else will. And lucky for Tulsi Gabbard, people don't press her as.
And that's just the thing of it. Like, Democrats pull their whiny bullshit like, oh my God, if Trump gets reelected, we're going to riot. And then Republicans one up that bullshit by being even more extremist. This is the kind of crap that gives Republicans a bad name.
As hard as Jimmy Dore did. That's in that article. That's just invented. Anything attacking AOC is more of his branding exercise than anything else. Attacking Jimmy Dore is more of your branding exercise, isn't it? And AOC told me to stop using polite language. That's what she said on December 2nd. Stop using polite language. I did. And she said, and start pressuring, make people uncomfortable. I did. And Anna Casparian says I'm attacking AOC. She's running interference for politicians.
Making people feel uncomfortable with the truth. Sometimes people go, you know what? That's too far. There are people out there who go, you know what? That's a little too far. And these are the kind of people we need, you know, that sort of harsh reality of, hey, you know what? Otherwise, we're going to be in the same bullshit loop of lies and deception. This is why I'm not afraid to speak out for gender equality to such a point it fucking hurts. Like, both sides are going to hate me for it. And then that gets both sides talking. And then when it gets both sides talking, all of a sudden they have a broader understanding of how the opposite sex thinks. And then they're thinking, God damn it. Cobra did something there. Yeah, he sure did.
Why? Why would you do that? You're telling your other broadcasters not to fucking pressure, not to yell, attacking me. Me telling them to do what they ran on is attacking them, according to Anna Casparian, who gives tongue bats to war criminals, takes $24 million from corporations and right-wingers, smears Julian Assange, and has moved to the center, as I was told by an executive at the Young Turks. I was told when they took that money, the Young Turks now has to move to the center, and we know that. And that's what this is. I was told point blank. With that said, pressuring politicians is actually to actually represent us is the right thing to do. So I'm doing the right thing. I have a great idea. I said, let's all come together on this and let bygones be bygones. And she can't do it.
Replying to Anna Casparian with that said, pressuring politicians to actually represent us is the right thing to do. I just question his intentions, and for good reasons, even with broken clock, etc., etc. Well, considering that politicians are supposed to represent we the people, it's in the fucking Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, no less, we the people. So yes, we should have politicians that represent the people, not the rich fat assholes that are fucking fat on their wallets and stuffing people with, you know what I'm saying? Now you get companies like aspirin and what have you and Tylenol that are saying, well, if marijuana were legal, people would start smoking joints for their headaches instead of taking an aspirin, which means the aspirin sales would drop. And therefore, you're going to have drug companies who are going to be buying politicians out, just like the big oil companies. And their greediness is slowing progress because that would overall be beneficial for the whole fucking economy. People would still take aspirins for their headaches. You know, just because weed becomes legal doesn't mean all of a sudden people are going to start buying hemp clothing now. You know, it'll just be a readily available option. These, you know, old school heads are feeling change, and sometimes change is good. So I agree with Jimmy Dore 100%, man. We should be pressuring politicians to actually do what they say they're going to do, because I've been hearing it since Barack Obama. I'm going to legalize pot. Both Trump and Obama said it, and it never happened. And I get that there are other pressing issues on the ballots and shit, but dude, come on. If you say you're going to do shit like that, then actually hold good on your word. Otherwise, you come off as a lying politician, and that shit's frustrating. A lot of members in Congress are super old. They have arthritis, cataracts, shit that marijuana can treat. In fact, marijuana is great for senior citizens. I'm just saying. No, it blows my mind. We catch politicians with drugs and prostitutes, and then if we get caught with that shit, we get told it's illegal. I'm like, wait a minute. You want to stop sex trafficking, you legalize prostitution for 21 and up, both to work and to participate. You force both people to wear protection. You have regulations to prevent STIs and shit like that. And you make a professional and very clean industry out of it. Put some fucking money back in this economy. You take the power out of the pimp's hand, and the pimp turns into a bodyguard. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, buddy. I'm just saying, dude, like, you show up to the house, wink wink, and you have a clean STI record, and you pay someone $40 to suck you off. You throw on a condom, and it gets you to the point where you want it to go, and then you're done. And if you divide that between the government, the house, and the worker, cha-ching. I mean, there's so many things you could do to boost this economy, but what do I know? But meanwhile, we're going to have a stink about whether or not we want universal health care, basically. Wow. Excuse me. I'll finish this when I fucking feel like it.
Can't do it. Because she's paid to not do it. She's paid to be a centrist. She's paid to advocate for the Democratic Party. She's paid to advocate for those donors, the Clinton donors.
This is why I'm a constitutionalist and why I'm independent. I advocate for gun rights, abortion rights. You know what I'm saying? All kinds of good shit. And that's just it. It doesn't have to be a religious issue. That's what pisses me off about it is people are sitting there going, God's against abortion, but God created everything. I'm like, do you realize how ass backwards that sounds? Talking about how merciful God is, but then he's against abortion. And why is God a he? How do you know that God's not both sexes, you sexist asshole? Yep. Pissing off religious freaks one video at a time.
Paid to smear Julian Assange and give tongue baths to war criminals. And she's paid to do this. I just question his intentions. What is the point of that? What is that going to lead to? What is what outcome? What's the result of that? Did she want? Nothing. Did you think that would help us get forced to vote? Is that?
Well, exactly, because common sense would tell you, hey, if we could have affordable health care for a lot of people versus select few getting it because they have money for it. I mean, common sense would tell you that's an awesome idea. There are areas in the country where the water's tainted, people are sick and dying from COVID, and having a hard time accessing health care. They have no jobs. And literally, you're going to sit there and have a bitch fit because somebody wants to make that situation a little bit brighter by having accessible health care for American citizens. I'm lost on that. Well, what exactly about having universal health care for American citizens sounds bad? There are people out there who get pissed about this issue. I'm like, dude, it's a good thing. Why would you?
Not going to help people want to pressure their politicians, because if you do, the Young Turks executive producer is going to smear you when you do the right thing. She says it right there. It's the right thing to do. I'm doing it, and she fucking attacks me in a bad faith way. That's the executive producer of a journalist outlet who just got done smearing Julian Assange, so of course they did that to me. That's nuts. I've never had an original idea in my life. Peddled McCarthyism and censorship for 4 years while taking $20 million in Katzenberg cash. Yes, this is a great idea, but Jimmy Dore is still a meanie. I work for a guy whose biopic is named Mad as Hell, but Jimmy's rage is off-putting somehow. Was a great honor to give a tongue bath to war criminal Madeleine Albright while I was uncritically repeating CIA talking points on Syria and Venezuela, while Jimmy was debunking me in real time in my own studio, including my smears of Julian Assange. But that's not what this is about. Oh, that's what this is about. Ambition. So when it comes to hashtag force to vote, the Young Turks did a poll of their own people. And just like the Democratic Party, their own people are overwhelmingly for it, 86%. Look at that. 85.2% are for it.
So now you got the people who watch the Young Turks who are agreeing with what I would say. You know, like, hey, forcing the vote on health care that's easily accessible would make a lot more sense. You know what I'm saying? And now they're being paid to speak out against it. Because there's a corporation that'll make money off the healthcare. That's why they don't want it to be affordable. Think about it. Think about it. If you're paying an assload of cash for healthcare, prescription drugs, groceries, taxes, there's a system in place that's keeping you broke and the 1% rich. It's right there in front of you, just smacking you in the face, and ugh. How many times have you gone to the grocery store and you're like, fuck, dude, shit is going up in price? Or you go to the fucking gas station and get a pack of smokes or a beer or whatever, and the beer and cigarettes are going up. And they'll sit there and give you this spew about, oh, we care about your health as Wyoming citizens. We want you to quit smoking and drinking. Bullshit, you want to cut from big tobacco and big alcohol. So here you go. Doing my part to contribute to my state's taxes, drinking and smoking. You don't give a shit about my health. You don't. I'm cool with it, you know. You want to hike the prices? The people out there who are willing to fucking pay a couple extra bucks. I'm just saying. You go to the fucking liquor store and six-pack of Bud Light was like $4. By the state tax increase, now it's like $5 or $6.
Just like in the Democratic Party, but the Democratic leadership is against it. So is the Young Turks. Isn't that amazing? They were for it. Then all of a sudden, they got to find a way to smear me. And then all of a sudden, they're not for it. And look how they worded the question. They put a lie in the question. So they're doing what they claim corporate media does. Lie to you about Medicare for all. They're doing it. The Young Turks. You want to see how they lied about Medicare for all? Do you see what this says? It says some progressive commentators are pushing for progressives within the U.S. House of Representatives to withhold their votes for Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House unless she vows to bring Medicare for all to a floor vote. They couldn't even mention her name. Isn't that amazing? That's how petty they are.
You know, Nancy Pelosi's a rich female politician, so she can afford some health care. Plus, she's a bit older, so health care for seniors, it's automatically there. You know, and I'm not here to talk shit, but like at the same time, could you imagine being someone who can't afford it? You know, if you're in a position where you can't afford health care, it sucks. You know, you break your arm, you go into a hospital, and you have to pay for that shit out of pocket because you don't have health insurance. You know what I'm saying? So, dude.
That's the kind of pettiness that the Young Turks are. Narcissists, megalomaniacs, and complete corporate sellouts. Look how petty that is. That is fucking unbelievable. That's how petty that is. Everybody knows it's me. The threat would, as the argument goes, force Democrats who oppose Medicare for all to go on the record with their views under threat of handing the speakership to Republicans. That's not true. That's the lie that Cenk Uygur will not stop repeating. And he keeps, every time he does it, his credibility goes down, which is why no one's watching his show anymore. I have 20,000 people watching my live stream today. They had 6,000. He's supposed to have 5 million subscribers. I don't believe they do. Because if they do and they're getting 6,000 people on their live stream, they lost the plot, didn't they? Yes, they did. And this is there it is. So they keep lying about this, just like corporate media does, now because they're corporate media. So they keep lying about this in the pettiest, most transparent way. They keep telling people that they're going to risk giving the speakership to the Republicans when that's not it. There's no chance of that happening. That's phony bullshit. That's propaganda that Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks are doing to keep you from a vote for Medicare for all. I think they're doing it because they're on the take and they have a manager inside the Democratic Party along with Katzenberg. That's why I think. And plus, I was told they had to move towards the center, and this is part of it. You ask them why they keep lying about this, because this isn't a thing. That's not a thing. That's not true. And even with them misleading their own people, just like the corporate media does about Medicare for all, just like that, 85% of them were for it. Saw right through them. Saw right through them. Even with them lying and misleading their own audience, just like CNN and Fox News and MSNBC, that's what the Young Turks are now. They're partisan hacks who protect politicians instead of challenging them. And they take your money saying, we're going to fight for you. And when the moment comes, they didn't fight at all. In fact, what they did, they smeared the guy who was fighting for you. Want to see it? This is Cenk Uygur. For all people pushing fraud squad, do you understand that if all 10 Justice Dems had voted president, GOP leader would be the speaker right now? What would that have accomplished? Easy being destructive. You have to come up with a plan for. So fighting for a hashtag to get a floor vote is destructive now. So before it was constructive. Now it's destructive. And what is this? This is January 3rd. On December 7th, Cenk Uygur was all for it. Isn't that weird? And now it's constructive. Of course, we should all do this. This is the right thing to do. Even Anna said that's the right thing to do. And now we're being destructive. Why, Cenk? Did you get a phone call from your manager? Do you need another round of funding?
You know, money can make people do some really crooked shit, to be honest. Selling it on your principles to become rich. Sad. Now, if Cenk and the Young Turks would have stopped at the corporate sponsorship, I would have been like, I get it. You got to have money, to run your news outlet, but it gets worse. All jokes aside, progressively worse. See what I did there? I made a political joke. Get it? Progressively worse. Anyone?
From right-wingers and corporations? Who called you, Jenk? Everybody. So you think that Cornel West is being destructive? You think Kyle Kalinske is being destructive? You think Crystal Ball is being destructive? You think Medea Benjamin's being destructive? Marianne Williamson's being destructive? You think all those people are being destructive? Do you see why you only have 6,000 people watching your show right now? Because everyone sees through this. Hey, I know this isn't how it works at all, because I've had it explained to me a million times by forced to vote advocates, but for some reason I'm not embarrassed to keep pushing this obvious lie that the GOP could take the speakership. Please donate, it's fun. Jimmy, you just don't understand politics, so please stop embarrassing yourself. It's a majority of the people.
That fucking attitude that both sides have of you just don't understand politics because you don't think like I do. Look, dude, it's all a matter of misconception and opinion. I get it. But you can't let the media and corporate bullshit blindside you to the truth. If you're genuinely Republican or Democrat, whatever, don't be afraid to examine the other side's point of view and then form your own conclusion based off of that. That's called free thinking. And when you're not ignorant, brainwashed sheep conformed to this is what this side says, so this is how I'm going to see it, The idea of universal health care. I mean, there are people out there who are pissed off about the idea. And I'm like, why would you want to be pissed off about something like that? It's ridiculous.
Voting, not the majority of the House. So if they had voted president, like you were saying, McCarthy would have won. If they voted for someone else, it likely would have pushed. The guy who pushed Russiagate for 4 years is going to tell us about embarrassing ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. The guy who just smeared Julian Assange is going to tell us about embarrassing ourselves. The guy who's on videotape yelling at customer service people at the top of his lungs and the guy is going to tell us to stop embarrassing ourselves.
Wait, Cenk Uygur was yelling at customer service? Okay, stop. What? Dude. YouTube, if you're just joining me live, I'm watching Jimmy Dore's video, TYT exposed as frauds while attacking hashtag force the vote. And between the gender relations and the political bullshit, that's what I rant about on my channel or anything else outside of that, but we're just making a live video, sipping on a mango Rita. I only need one to get my day started. I thank you.
The guy who's lying to you right now about hashtag force the vote. Here's what happens if they withhold their vote from Nancy Pelosi.
So she has to go to the House floor, and she has to get 218 votes.
Right.
And
she has to.
Wait, Nancy Grace? Oh, you mean Nancy Pelosi? Okay.
Get a majority of the people voting.
Republicans aren't going to vote for her, and so if she can't get 218 Democrats, then there's no speaker.
If she can't get a majority of the votes, then there's no speaker. And why would they vote present? They could vote for Cornel West. They could vote for Tammy Duckworth. They could vote for anybody else they want, which would mean that the Republicans could not get a majority of the votes, just as he's saying. And then what happens?
Right. And then it kicks back to the caucus, and then it's chaos, and then a whole bunch of people can run.
And then it kicks back to the caucus, and then they have to come up with another candidate.
I shouldn't laugh at the word caucus, but
or Nancy Pelosi meets their demand. It's easy.
So Nancy Pelosi has to meet the caucus's demands. There's so many feminazi jokes I could make right now. This is why feminazis are screaming, fuck the patriarchy, it's all run by men, because the word cock is in the word caucus. Oh, jeez. I'm just busting Asperger's. Calm down.
And Jake is bending himself in a pretzel, lying about hashtag force the vote. This is nuts what he's doing. Everyone sees it, by the way.
Yes.
Let's note.
Well, I haven't been watching the Young Turks in a while just because I got a lot of people I'm subscribed to. And admittedly, when you're on YouTube and you're subscribed to like 400 plus channels, you know, you can get lost with the ones who make the most content versus the ones who make the least. And after I saw the way Cenk behaved in the airport, I was just like, dude, no. I unsubscribed and it'll come up in this video. Cenk posted it on his webpage. The dude's freaking out because the airplane is like 3 to 4 hours late. Oh.
And then he just comes at me. He just started attacking me. Well, I don't know why. They just started attacking me. Anna and him. Well, Anna started it off a couple weeks ago, right when I came up with this idea. And then Jake just started to join in for I don't know why. Let's note for the record that so-called purist, he's now calling me a purist, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm for Medicare for all. I'm for them fighting for it. He's now called.
You call it a purist because you want Medicare for all? Well, there are some people who don't deserve Medicare. Like if you're a piece of shit and you hurt people because you enjoy it, you know, if you're a psychopath or a murderer, you shouldn't have health care. If you're a disgusting rapist, you shouldn't have Medicare. You know what I'm saying? If you're an abusive piece of shit, you shouldn't have Medicare. You know what I'm saying? But like, relatively speaking, for the most part, I get what some people are saying. That some people shouldn't have it. I get it, okay? But relatively speaking, there are a lot of good people out there who could benefit from having easy access to good Medicare. You know,
called me a purist. Remember he used to do that? Hillary Clinton used to say that about Bernie bros. Oh, you guys are purists. Now he's doing that because I'm at.
Oh, you guys are purists. Ugh. The idea that having good intentions and political beliefs to better the society we live in, oh, that makes you a purist. Everything's got a fucking word, doesn't it? It's so fucking frustrating. Mansplaining, reverse sexism, purist.
Asking him to do what he's claimed he wanted to do his whole life, get a floor vote on Medicare for all. And watch this. He goes, let's note for the record that so-called purist Jimmy Dore abandoned Medicare for all just months ago. But that's, again, just a lie. I got 100 videos on my channel pro Medicare for all. I endorsed Bernie's Medicare for all plan over Tulsi's, and I said that right to her face. So he's just making this up. And by the way, Tulsi Gabbard was for Medicare for all. She was for the Australian version, which is a single-payer system, which is ranked number 2 in the world. That's another fucking smear. But if you say it enough, just like Russia, you say it enough, people will start to believe it. So Tulsi Gabbard has a lot of flaws. She was for single payer, the Australian model, which is ranked number 2 in the world. I was for Bernie's plan, and I said that to her face. And
yeah, I'm getting real tired of Bernie Sanders getting fucked over by the Democrats. Like the last 2 elections, if it would have been Bernie Sanders versus Trump, I would have voted for Bernie. You know what I'm saying? But that's just not how it played out, I guess. And I'm not that fussed about it. Honestly, it's just an election. I feel like there are people out there who get like way too intensely involved with the elections, and they take it way too personal when their candidate loses. It's fucking stupid, man. You know how bummed I get? You know what I'm saying? And like, damn it, the Democrats could have elected Bernie Sanders and had a fighting chance, but instead they elect Clinton, excuse me, or Joe Biden.
Cenk Uyghur's got to do this. He started attacking Bernie. Again, attacking. They can't help this. Attacking Bernie is not progressive enough. Hilarious. But to be.
So Bernie Sanders is a pretty righteous dude, but he gets attacked in the media for not being progressive enough. This is my point exactly. This video is 50 minutes and 53 seconds long, and we're not even 15 minutes into the video. It's stupid, YouTube. I'm just like, dude, are you flipping kidding me? Bernie Sanders gets attacked for not being progressive enough. I'm going to have to take a leak after polishing my one for the day off. These Mango Rita sparkling margarita drinks are pretty freaking tasty. That mango taste is on point. Not a sponsor. It's just free advertisement. This is for 21 and up. Dude, I love my new setup. Fucking beautiful. Moving on.
To be fair, Tulsi would come on a show. Everybody came on my show. AOC came on my show when she wanted to use me to help brand her. Cori Bush came on my show. Ro Khanna comes on my show. Everybody comes on my show. You came on my show, Jen. Remember when you were begging to come on my show? When you were running for office? When you were showing everybody how to do it? Man, it's amazing. All right, let's note that union buster Cenk Uygur took $20 million from Clinton donors, then smeared Julian Assange, was caught repeat.
I take a political piss. I'll be right back.
Repeatedly lying about forced to vote and said now is not the time for Medicare for all. Well, now he just called me.
Now is not the time for Medicare for all. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Now is not the time for Medicare for all. Medicare for all. Okay, to some degree, I get that because we can't afford it because of the pandemic. It's put our economy in kind of a poop spin. But seriously, dude, there are people out there who could really benefit from that, who really need it more than you do. And these fucking, oh my God, dude, there are Democrats and Republicans alike who are attacking this, and it's exhausting.
A purist because I'm currently fighting for Medicare for all, and he's not. This is Danny Hypon from the Black Agenda Report. He noticed what Cenk was doing, and from the Black Agenda Report says, "You sound like a corporate shield, Cenk. Never heard Jimmy Dore once abandon Medicare for all. After Tulsi endorsed Biden, Jimmy Dore asked her questions about it rather than engage in Russiagate smears like TYT did from the beginning. Hope that corporate money tastes good because it is exposing you."
Oh, exactly my point, man. That shit is exposing you. Got the window open. It's a little chilly out, but here's the thing of it. Here's the bloody thing of it. Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks got a big corporate deal. And holy shit. From the get-go, they're independent media who stood for independent views. And lo and behold, YouTube, lo and fucking behold, it changed as soon as they got that $24 million paycheck.
Marianne Williamson said to Cenk, she says, hey, actually, I think it was their job to come up with a plan for being constructive. So she's responding to him saying, where is it? You have to come up with a plan for being constructive. That's what Cenk's saying, that our hashtag force to vote was destructive. Easy to be destructive. Destructive? To have a plan to get a force to vote on Medicare for all, that's destructive. That, by the way, everybody endorsed, including you, that's destructive. But now that it actually had a chance and he got a call from his manager, now it's destructive. And it's up to us to come up with a plan for being constructive. And Marianne Williamson says, no, Cenk, actually, Cenk, I think it was their job to come up with a plan for being constructive, meaning the people we elected. She kicked his ass in that thread. She's right about this. Cenk is 100% wrong. It's easy to fucking make him look like a chump because he is. It's not my job to come up with shit. It's their fucking job. The squad wasn't strategizing at all until I came up with this idea a month ago. They weren't going to do anything. And by the way, they didn't do anything. They did nothing with their leverage, Cenk. Nothing. Marianne Williams is the nicest lady. Marianne Williamson is the nicest lady you're ever going to meet. And even she's like, nah, fuck that noise, Cenk. It's on them. It's on them, Cenk. It's not on Jimmy Dore to come up with a better plan. It's up on them. It's on the people elected with all the power. Really, Cenk? You're sitting at home? Well, we could get Medicare for all vote if Jimmy Dore just doesn't fuck it up. I'm the guy with all the power? It's up to me? Wow. For people pushing Fraud Squad, do you understand that if all 10 Justice Democrats had voted president, GOP leader would be speaker right now? What would that have accomplished? Easy being destructive. You have to come up with a plan for being constructive. Marianne Williamson says, actually, Cenk, it's their job to come up with a plan for being constructive. And then Beth says, no, this is ridiculous. This was a clear instance where leverage was there. This is a full-blown controlled opposition. Dismissing any demand by pointing to the threat of Republicans, you're a perfect fit for MSNBC, Cenk. So Cenk is what they call controlled opposition. And that's what he's pointing out. And that's what the Young Turks are now. And I don't think there can be any doubt about it. That's what's going on. Sorry, I'm done with these Justice Democrats. My wallet is closed this next year. So that's the consequence. There's actually consequences when you get elected on doing something and then you don't do it. This is the consequence. One of the consequences is I'm going to scream about it to raise everybody's awareness, and we're going to trend on Twitter for fucking 2 weeks because I'm yelling about it, so everyone's going to know about it. So that's one of the consequences, even though fucking milquetoast, spineless morons on the left think you've got to whisper. That's how you get attention? While they were getting no attention for anything, nothing. So this is the next consequence is not only that a YouTuber yells and raises awareness of that you're selling everyone out and abandoning the fucking platform you ran on. That's one of the consequences is Jimmy Dore is going to raise his voice to make everybody aware that you're abandoning the fucking people who voted for you and your own goddamn platform. That's one of the consequences. And it should be every fucking YouTube host. And if you're not, shame on you for being a cuck. Another one of the consequences is that people aren't going to give you money anymore. This is what we tried to stress to Nina Turner, to come out for hashtag force to vote, because your base will support you if you do, because their base is nationwide. The Fraud Squad showed me that they are unaccountable to people like me when they ignored us and snubbed our town hall. Better luck next time. 100,000 people saw that town hall. At least. 100,000 people show up for a fucking town hall meeting and they don't show up? Not one of them? Wow. Hey, great. This is so Cenk retweets this guy saying I'm done with the Justice Democrats. And Cenk says, great, this is exactly the kind of damage I was worried about. Well, then you should have pressured the squad to do something.
Right.
Great.
I was great. Great.
I thought this was going to happen.
I knew this was going to happen. As soon as they didn't do the thing they campaigned on, people were going to notice and stop giving money. Great. Yes, Cenk, this is called the mechanism we use to hold them accountable. What is your mechanism? Well, but first of all, he was against them even doing this. He's against holding politicians accountable, just so you know. And this is obvious. And he was afraid of this was so now a corporate Democrat funded by big oil can win the seat because someone taught them that they should not help the most progressive people in the country. Instead, they should throw useless temper tantrums. Useless temper tantrums. I wasn't throwing a temper tantrum because my plane was delayed. I was raising my voice as loud as I could and screaming at the most powerful people in the world who are abandoning us.
So Jane Cougar has been accused of throwing a temper tantrum because his plane was delayed. Well, Jimmy Dore is being accused of being too aggressive with this tactical approach on politics. Okay, let's see how this plays
in the middle
out.
of a deadly pandemic, and it worked. And it worked. It got everybody's attention. And now this guy's not going to give them any money anymore because there's a consequence for you not doing what you told people you were going to do. It's kind of funny. The guy clutching his pearls over Fraud Squad probably helped it trend longer.
Yes.
You just don't know how Twitter works, Jen. This is the kind of damage that you caused, Jen. You never rallied the troops. You chose to pick sides in a petty battle of online personalities. Don't ask for another penny, Cenk. I ain't interested in supporting your YouTube career any longer. In fairness, if the politicians are not doing the things you need them to do, then why should you donate to them? They made their choice for better or worse. There are repercussions. A different candidate may represent the needs of the people better. Why would you support people who aren't represented? And so I went on Katie Halper's show. I did the town hall. We had 100,000 people watch. And then afterwards, I went on Katie Halper's Zoom. She had a podcast. And she wanted me to come on. And I was eating dinner.
About 10 p.m.
About 10 p.m. I didn't feel like coming on. I was exhausted. But I did a favor for Katie Halper. She wanted me to come on her show to talk about #ForceTheVote. She had just hosted the town hall and did a solid for the movement. So I was going to do her a solid and go back on her show, even though I was exhausted in the middle of eating dinner. So I did. And I started yelling at everybody. At everybody. And I was yelling at them to stop speaking in dulcet tones and soft voices about healthcare and talking about procedures and backroom deals, and because that pisses people off who don't have healthcare. If you think you're garnering support by talking about it like this, you're not. I was screaming this. You're not. And if you think you're going to nice your way into getting a politician to do something for you, you're the dumbest fucking person in the history of the world, or you're lying.
No, exactly. If you're going to sit there and nice your way into getting a politician to do what you want, it doesn't work. Nicing your way, fuck that, dude. Money talks, bullshit walks. That's how politicians are, dude. You know, if you're not lining that politician's pocket, they're not going to give a fuck about what the fuck you have to say. Like, oh, you just, you know what I'm saying? That's how crooked the fucking system is. You're
going to nice a politician into doing something? How do you look
nice a
yourself in the fucking
politician?
mirror?
How the fuck do you nice a politician into doing something? You're fucking stupid, dude.
So Jake tweets out this, says that he says, and hashtag force the vote turns on itself. It was inevitable. There's someone in this town hall. It wasn't the town hall. Again, he's misreporting the facts. That was Katie Halper's fucking podcast. That
It's
we were
because he didn't watch the town
and he
hall.
didn't even watch the town hall. He didn't even watch the town hall. He just saw somebody tweet something out with a hater, by the way, misinformation, who has me blocked. Guy tweeting this has me blocked. And still tweets about me, which, again, that crosses the douchebag rule. And then Jake Uger says it's from the town hall. It wasn't. He says, there's someone in this town hall who needs serious psychological counseling. He means me, because I was yelling about healthcare. Can you tell who? These folks are mostly well-intentioned. They have a fine strategy that is slightly mistimed, but the circular fire. So so again, Jake Uger, well, when is the time? When is the time for this strategy, Jake? So now he's back to saying it's a fine strategy. Before it was destructive. Remember, at first it was constructive, then it was destructive. Now it's fine, but slightly mistimed. When is the time, Jake? There's no time. When is your manager going to tell you it's okay? When is your manager inside the Democratic Party going to tell you it's okay? When is your manager at the Katzenberg money machine going to tell you it's okay? When is the time? Jake is saying, don't do it. Not now. Wait to do something. Vote for Nancy Pelosi for sure. That's what Jake's saying. Vote for Nancy Pelosi for sure. And don't get anything. As he lies that this is the town hall. It's not the town hall. By the way, he says, there's someone in this town hall who needs serious psychological counseling. Can you guess who? Jake Uger was known for screaming his head off at everybody. Everybody. Don't get near him. And Jake wasn't beaten as a kid, by the way. He was coddled.
What?
Guess who was? Here's Jake Uger. Here's Jake Uger, who's telling me I have psychological problems because I'm yelling about healthcare.
The New York Times of what he was said. President finally concedes. Was it a banner headline?
What page?
Page 1 on the front page above the fold.
Michael,
Absolutely. That's where I learned.
Story in USA Today. Bush says he's made America
That's
safe.
where I.
That's the headline.
Okay, Jim, you're talking about one
story.
story.
The article, or never goddamn mentioned in the goddamn headline.
It's impossible to talk to you about
No, because
something.
here, I'll show you.
I mean, USA Today. You're not talking about USA Today. You're talking about one.
Show the goddamn paper, right?
You don't have to donate to this crazy nonsense, but if you'd like to donate, the PayPal link will be right here. I do appreciate y'all donating your time. It's greatly appreciated. Let's get back to that political rant.
Here, okay?
What does
USA
it say?
safer, Bush says. Picture, headline. USA safer,
Bush
says.
Okay.
USA Today, you suck balls. You are a terrible newspaper. You know what he did in that press conference yesterday and how we covered it? He lied over and over about how this is a war between Al-Qaeda and Iraq. It's not a war between Al-Qaeda and Iraq. It's a war between Shiites and Sunnis. Civil war that we're stuck in. And what does the USA Today incompetent loser say? USA safer, Bush says. That is a lie. They've done a terrible job. Every one of these editors in every major newspaper, in every major magazine, in every major television news organization should be fired today. 43% of Americans believe that Saddam Hussein was personally involved with 9/11. That is the worst failure of the mainstream press I have ever seen. Ever seen.
Now, the problem with Cenk Uygur, and I hear the argument, is a lot of people are seeing people from the Middle East as all the same. Saudis and Arabians, you know what I'm saying? They're all being seen as the same because they're from the general region, but they're different in the way they see things. And the Middle East is getting blamed for a lot of shit.
And why do you think now 58% of Americans are opposed to the Iraq war? Do you know what that number would be if 43% of them didn't think Saddam Hussein did 9/11? That number would be like 3%. God damn it, they failed us. And if you're not angry about that, Michael, and any of you out there, then you're goddamn wrong.
But when I get angry about healthcare, Cenk Uygur says that I'm unstable. Why? It's because he got a call from his manager to kneecap.
You know what he's angry about it? Because people in the Middle East are being seen as the same. Doesn't matter if you're a Saudi Arabian or Talibanian. Excuse me. You got Middle Easterners fighting over civil democracy issues. It's kind of like when the United States fought for its independence. You know what I'm saying? You had a bunch of white folks fighting for different issues. It's quite similar, but the only difference is the region of country.
Hashtag force the vote. So when the time came to fight for Medicare for all, a fine strategy, as he now again agrees, it's just the wrong time. He said, it's just the wrong time. Why? Because I'm getting $24 million in corporate money right now. And I have to move towards the center. I have to protect politicians who are also not going to do what they said they would. So, the reason I show you that is because I learned how to broadcast this way from him. And so when he comes out and says that someone needs serious psychological counseling because I'm yelling about healthcare on a fucking podcast, which wasn't the town hall, and the guy's biopic is bad as hell, and the guy, it's
The New York Times.
the guy's screaming like a maniac. So now here's another one. I said, Jake thinks I have an emotional problem because I'm angry about lack of healthcare in America and yell at politicians about it. And by the way, Jake was right to yell about the.
Okay, so Cenk thinks that Jimmy Dore has an emotional problem because Jimmy Dore is angry about a lack of health care in America. And wouldn't you be angry about a lack of health care in America? This is supposed to be the land of the free, land of the opportunity. And you can't get much opportunity when your health care sucks. And so he yells at politicians about it. You know what I'm saying? Because politicians say things to get people to vote for them. It's so fucking mainstream manipulative. Like when politicians say, yeah, I'm going to legalize pot as soon as I take office. So a bunch of the stoners are like, yeah, man. Oh, you know what I'm saying? They fucking vote for them. And then they don't do it. They say they're all about universal health care or all about what you believe in, etc. And they don't do it. It's frustrating. But here's at Cenk Uygur going full maniac, raging at a black and brown female airlines employees. It's not about race. Get out of here with that. But here's Cenk Uygur raging at female airline employees because his plane ride was disrupted.
Iraq war. He was right to yell that way. I don't shame him. He's right. If you're not angry about that, you're wrong. He's right. And if Cenk's not angry about them not forcing a vote, he's wrong. He's wrong. He should be angry. He's not. He's angry at me. He's angry at me for pushing a policy he says is a fine strategy. He's been for it all his life, said we had to do it a million times, except when the time came, he got a call from his manager and said, fucking don't do this. And so he had to bend himself in a pretzel and attack me. So I say, Jake thinks I have emotional problem because I'm angry about Lex. I mean, that was him coming at our town hall. He didn't give it positive. He didn't go, wow, we had some great stories. Hashtag force the vote, Cornell West, nothing.
And the stories were heartbreaking.
The stories were heartbreaking. He didn't talk about my story. He didn't talk about anything. He didn't talk about the town hall. He talked about a fucking podcast that happened afterwards and pretended it was. To what? To discredit hashtag force the vote. To kneecap Medicare for all in this moment. That's what the Young Turks did. They did it for 2 weeks straight. And so here's Cenk Uygur going full raging maniac on customer service employees, and he thinks this is when he thinks it's okay to yell.
And I'm hungry and I'm tired, and so, like, you know me, I get more agitated when I'm hungry and tired.
So Cenk Uygur is stuck up at an airport. He's hungry. He's tired. He's having a long flight. Man, we've all been through that shit, dude. Don't even give me that crap. We've all been there, done that. You know, traveling via airlines sucks. Just leave it at that. But here's where he starts acting privileged.
So maybe we just should have, maybe if he would have skipped a meal during this hashtag force the vote, he would have got angry. But it's obvious he's not skipping meals. It's obvious. So this is want to know when he gets angry, when it's okay for him? This is when it's okay.
So, look, if you guys think this is bad, wait till, if that plane doesn't actually come from the hangar in 20 minutes.
People have been waiting for healthcare since 1940. People have been waiting for healthcare in this country for 80 years. He can't wait 20 minutes for a plane.
I mean, yeah, you know, exactly. People have been waiting for healthcare since 1940, 80 plus years. And maybe the plane's a couple minutes late. And he's, you know, I get it. People are impatient by nature, but holy shit.
If his plane doesn't come in 20 minutes, this is what he does.
Flight coming! Come on, supervisors! The flight coming! Supervisor, you at least got to be honest. Is there a flight? Is there a plane? You got to be honest. Is there a plane? Is there a plane? Where's the plane?
These people are all dealing with people, and Jake is in there.
Oh my, exactly. These poor customer service representatives are dealing with a shit ton of people. And here's Cenk shoving the camera on people's faces. Hey, when is the plane coming? Hey.
Face yelling at them and recording it himself. He's recording it himself. How do we get this video? He recorded it and posted it. That's how unhinged that guy is.
Where's the plane? Is there a plane? Where is it? Where's the plane? You know, but listen, if we just sit here and take it, they'd have us here until 6 in the morning.
Even the freaking customer services are like, just ignore Cenk Uygur. They know who he is. They're like, oh, it's the host of the Young Turks. You know, they look uncomfortable. They look stressed. They're like, dude, the nerve of this guy. Like, there's enough people complaining and yelling about this shit, and this guy just takes it up to the next notch. Shoving a camera on people's faces. It's rude as shit. Do they look annoyed? And to quote Cenk Uygur, of course they look annoyed. Could you imagine, though, if you were at your job, Cenk, and you had a bunch of people complaining, and then some dickhead came and shoved a camera in your face? Hey, when's the next news article going to come out? And what if your cameras were having difficulties, so you had a hard time recording Young Turks news stories? You wouldn't like it. And then some asshole just coming up in front of you and being like, hey, when's the next Young Turks coming out? You know what I'm saying? You'd be pissed about it. You know what you would say? The same thing these poor people who are working customer service would say. Sir or ma'am, we apologize for the inconvenience. We're doing the best we can.
if you just sit here and take it, so Jen's not going to take waiting for a plane for 20 minutes. But he will tell you to wait for your health care forever. Because the timing's not right. Forever. The timing wasn't right.
And then they fuck us even harder, okay? So
He's screaming obscenities right at people who are working.
Yeah. Literally screaming obscenities at people who are just trying to do their job as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
Then they fuck. But I'm the one who.
I need to. You're a supervisor, aren't you? Where's the plane?
Sorry, I'm not going to answer your question.
No, I know because I've been here for 4 hours. Don't you?
Oh, boo-hoo, Jake Huger. Oh, jeez. Yeah, to quote Bill Barr, oh, jeez. Jake Huger's been waiting for 4 hours and his privileged Turkish ass can't handle waiting fucking 4 hours for a plane. Oh, jeez. Dude, you think you're the only one in there who isn't dealing with the delayed flight? Judging from your video that you posted, a lot of people are upset. And they shouldn't have to just fucking answer to you specifically. You can wait patiently like the rest of us. You know, Jake Huger's parents are immigrants. That's something he talked about on the Young Turks. He was like going on about how his parents are immigrants and how they made this awesome life possible for him. Do you think your parents had access to easy American health care? Fuck no. Fuck no. You know what I'm saying? Your parents came from a different country to make a better life for themselves. You were born into this country. You have no idea the struggle they had to go through. Neither do I. So here you are sitting here saying, turn down health care for all. Like, are you fucking dumb, dude? And then to top it all off, you know, the corporate sponsorship, I mean, I get it. Your news channel needs to make money. I totally get it. But
Even this, where's the plane? Here, I got a question for you.
Wow.
When did you make the decision that we weren't going to have a plane?
You know what?
When did you make that?
He's literally shoving the camera in this poor girl's face. When did you make the decision that we weren't going to have a plane? Dude, the level of ego on Jane Huger is ridiculous. Okay, she is just a customer representative at the airport. She has no control over when that plane's going to be delayed. And she wants to tell this guy off, but she doesn't want to lose her job. You can see it in her face, dude.
Decision. Who made the decision? Who made the decision that we weren't? It's funny.
And then that look that the other chick, he filmed the camera over to this other chick, like she just, oh yeah, one of these customers. That look on her face, like, oh geez, yeah, pissed off customer with the camera. All fucking ridiculous, dude.
You, right? It's not funny to us. Who made the decision? Who made the decision? Who made it? Well, who is it? That's what I'm asking. Whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? Is there a crew? Is there a crew? Is there a crew?
Yelling, we're not going to be able to answer your question.
Okay, let me whisper it.
It's no one's fault, dude. It just happens. It's life. And you can hear people in the crowd shouting, dude, it's no one's fault. Just chill out and wait patiently. You hear people and he refuses. Holy shit.
Is there a crew? Is there a plane or a crew?
Flight 204, your plane is already on.
Is there a flight or is there a crew? So then eventually he cuts to however long he had to wait. Oh, boo-hoo, 20, 30, 40 fucking minutes.
Away from the hangar.
And they finally addressed the situation like, if this is the flight you were on, it's on its way. So sirs and ma'ams, could you please chill the fuck out?
No, but they told us that 4 hours ago. Is it actually coming? Lie after lie. Is it actually?
He just won't fucking stop. They told us the flight was coming 4 hours ago. Is it actually gonna come, or are you bullshitting me?
Coming because I literally heard it was coming from the hangar 3 hours ago.
Okay, so 3 hours ago, you heard the plane was coming, but then it was 4 hours ago. Which is it? 3 and 4. Make up your mind. Like, fuck. Okay, going on an airplane sucks. Delayed flights, it sucks. But what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? You sitting there complaining about it is making someone else's life easier. Other people who are going through the same shit don't want to listen to it. So really, you're just making life difficult for everyone. The people around you who are on the same goddamn flight are all feeling the same thing, but they don't want to listen to it. They don't. I repeat, do not want to listen to it. And the people who are trying to maintain the airport as securely and as safely as possible don't want to listen to some privileged celebrity go off about, oh, well, 3 to 4 hours delayed, but they said,
I literally heard that.
So that's
I
what
literally heard that, he says. Oh, good for you, dude.
he was doing.
Okay, so at this point, you're just like, you watched the video that Cenk Uygur posted on his social media of him harassing airport employees. Like, who is this guy? He got some corporate sponsorship. Now I think he's Mr. Big Shot. He lost his values when he first started Young Turks. Like, holy shit.
It's kind of funny, a guy clutching his pearls over Fraud Squad and over a Zoom meeting that I was on. A guy who loses his shit on camera over a flight being delayed. He gaslit his entire audience over a Zoom call, over a podcast. They didn't let him on the plane.
Okay, so
Imagine that after the huge fucking scene he made in the airport with his camera. Imagine that. They're not going to let him on the plane. Okay, I can't imagine why, YouTube.
I'm removed from this flight.
Or you go to the customer service.
Isn't that unbelievable? I was angry before, no question about it, but you saw it on the video. A lot of people were angry, right?
No, dude. No, I saw the video. Okay, the only one that was forcibly this overly reacted about it was you. You're the only one that was pissed off about the plane being delayed, like such a degree. You're pulling out your phone like, oh, can you guys believe this shit? Oh my God. Hey, man, do you got an answer for this bullshit? What the fuck, man? And everyone in the crowd was just like, bro, Cenk, dude, bro, guy, bro, chill the fuck out. It'll get here when it gets here. And imagine that. They don't want to let you on the fucking plane after you caused that big of a scene over it being delayed. Imagine that. And now you're pissed because you got kicked off the plane. I'm like, dude, here's a hindsight. If you would have waited patiently, they probably wouldn't have fucking kicked you off the plane before boarding it.
Me and another guy, the two guys who got, like, there were others too, who got the plane there. If we weren't angry, they wouldn't have brought the plane. They weren't bringing the plane for 3 hours. We got angry, and we asked our supervisor.
Well, okay, I get it. Like, there's a lot of people, you're asking for the supervisor, I get it. But, dude, whipping out the camera and just harassing people like that on the spot and totally using your celebrity status to bully people is just fucked up.
If we didn't get angry, we weren't going to get results. We had to get angry.
And what is getting angry solve? 9 times out of 10, jack shit.
The only reason Forced to Vote was trending for 2 weeks was because I yelled on podcasts, and I was emoting externally the way people without health care feel inwardly. So when you see me screaming like how
Exactly. You know why hashtag force the vote was trending? Because people who without health care were hearing someone stand up for them. You know, someone standing up for the little guy for a change. That's what it used to be about for the Young Turks. Independent media standing up for the little guy. But you get this big fat corporate paycheck and all of a sudden you change. You know, and that's just sad because getting discovered and getting that big cut that makes your day, it can change people, dude, and it's sad.
Jank yells when his flight is 20 minutes late. You know how he screams? Because he's hangry. That's how I was screaming for healthcare. And that's why Force the Vote trended for almost 2 weeks straight. That's why. That's why. So, like Nina Turner says, when your hair's on fire, start screaming like your hair's on fire. So that's what I'm doing around Medicare for All. That's what I'm doing around the government abandonment.
You know, and the fact that people have to scream and yell and shout, hey, you said you represented this idea. Why the fuck aren't you doing that? And while you're in office, the fact that people have to remind these politicians, okay, the fact that people have to remind these politicians, hey, this is what your campaign stood for, and now you're against it. What the fuck? You know, it's crooked politics 101.
Abandoning us during a deadly pandemic and a Great Depression. They've abandoned you. They've abandoned you. And here's a guy saying, oh, if we didn't get angry, it wouldn't happen. And all of a sudden, when Jimmy Dore's got an idea to get his health care, Mr. 24 million right-wing money, he all of a sudden says you can't be angry. That doesn't work. And your timing is wrong. And you're this and that. And I don't.
Because the people paying Cenk Uygur saying you can't be for Medicare for all, lo and behold, goes off and tells Jimmy Dore he gets too angry when he's fighting for civil liberty at best, then turns around and gets angry when a flight is delayed. That's his flight, and then gets banned from that flight because he's being a prestigious diva about it. Oh, dude.
Don't give a fuck, and you don't have anybody replace her, and oh my God, you're going to give it to the Republican. This is nuts. I hope everybody sees this. I hope everybody sees this. That's who Jeff. That it's all over for them.
Jeffrey Costansberg's Winder Co. invests in TYT Network as part of a $20 million round. Holy crap. So for $20 million, Cenk Uygur can go against what he started Young Turks with to begin with. For $20 million, he can say, you know, fuck what I started this news organization on. That's $20 million. Hey, if they want to tell me that I have to be part of the Democratic, you know what I'm saying, blah, 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 whatever, then who cares? It's morals over money, I guess, right? Or in Cenk's case, money over morals. And unless some part of you had to feel like a piece of shit signing that contract going, yeah, I'm about to be fucking super rich, $20 million fucking dollars. Yeah, I'm making it happen as a journalist, but fuck, I gotta go against my principles. Oh, all right, here's your contract. Some people would call it signing a contract with the devil and making your pact, but I'm tired of the devil getting a bad name in our society.
He's a corporate tool, and he's doing it on purpose. That's Hillary Clinton's. That's right from the Clinton donor money. That's what this is. And then they have also got $4 million from Buddy Roemer, a right-winger. And where did that money go? What are you, is Cenk a degenerate gambler? TYT reaches $2 million in fundraising campaign. The Young Turks expand reporting unit through a $2 million crowdsourced fundraising campaign.
And that's what gets me. You want to call yourself independent media, but the Young Turks had enough crowd raising to raise $2 million. No, $2 million wasn't enough. You had to go and sign that $20 million contract. I mean, I get that your news organization needs, you know what I'm saying? You need money to run what you're doing. But $2 million can go a long way if you spread it. Like, I can't even fathom $2 million right now. Okay? If someone slapped $8 million in my face, that would be more money than I've seen in a lifetime. I'll tell you what. But that's just my point, dude. I'm like, you want to claim to be an independent news source getting crowdfunded. You know what I'm saying? I would have drawn the line at getting a corporate deal, okay? If you got a corporate deal that supports the ideas you support and you're making it happen, cool. But getting a corporate deal from someone that doesn't support your ideas, the corporation that says, we'll give you $20 million, but you have to go against, you know, healthcare for all and progressive thinking. And then Cenk Uygur, who founded the Young Turks on progressive thinking and being an independent news source, is like, $20 million, you say, well.
And then fired all the people they hired. And then they got that money and then they fired everybody. What happened to all those investigative reporters, Cenk? What happened to that money? And then now he plays the victim. So after he smears me, maligns me, his executive producer, out of nowhere for nothing, comes out and says bad things about me, questions my motives, says I'm a raid, people shouldn't have to put up with me. And then you saw her co-host does everything exactly like I ever did. Does the exact same stuff. And then now Cenk is going to try and play, this is what all bully narcissists do. Then they play victim. This is like right out of a fucking textbook. I'm really sad over the Jimmy situation because I liked him. And I thought he was a good person inside. I've defended him hundreds of times. To have him turn around and lie about us and question our motives is one of the most hurtful things I've ever. Anna Casparian questioned my motives when I came up with the idea for hashtag Force the Vote, which you were on board for, and she could not help herself. The executive producer of the Young Turks could not help herself. Yeah, it's the right thing to do, and it's a good idea and all that stuff, but Jimmy Dore, I question him. He's not right. Because I didn't go along with Russiagate, and I told everybody, and they couldn't stand it. I said, I'm really sad that Cenk took $24 million in corporate cash, then union busted. By the way, here's something else Cenk told me. So right after Donald Trump got elected, and everybody was dejected, pretty much like we feel right now after the squad just abandoned us. We had finished a program, a show, and I turned to him, and I said earnestly, Cenk, let's do something real. Let's do something meaningful. And he goes, like what? I go, let's organize all the Walmart workers in California. I go, if we can do it here, we could do it anywhere. We could change the country. Let's organize the workers. And Cenk looked me right in the eye and he said, Jimmy, I ain't into unions, buddy.
What? So Cenk Uygur said he's not into unions. Can you believe that shit? But you claim to be about independent media and free government. Like, what? Wow, dude. 40 minutes in, and we got another 10 minutes to go, YouTube. It's a lot to think about. Oh, but it gets better. You think the Cenk Uygur freaking out at the airport was bad. It just gets worse.
That's a direct quote. Really sad. Cenk took $24 million in corporate cash, then union busted, smeared Julian Assange, constantly pushed war while repeating CIA talking points while turning TYT into online MSNBC, and finally running interference for politicians while lying to kneecap force the vote and Medicare for all. That's who Cenk Uygur is. Even their best fans have turned on them. She's friends with, I'm pretty sure she's friends with Anna. He says to Cenk Uygur, she says to Cenk Uygur, this one, I'm really sad that bullshit one where he's the victim somehow. After his entire fucking network has been smearing me. She says, you should end every tweet by asking us for money. I want to make sure to have the real TYT experience. And why do I say she's friends with Anna? First of all, I got almost 2,000 likes by the time I screen capped it. Why do I say she's friends? Because Anna comes back and says, I can't believe you're repeating this dumb shit, Beth. So they must know each other. How do you propose we make money?
Every YouTube celebrity asks for money. That's the thing of it. If you're on YouTube and, every YouTuber does it to some degree. Every YouTuber has a page where you can donate to their content and keep it produced and etc. But that's beside the point.
If we don't take corporate advertising, you took 24 million corporate dollars. What are you talking about? You're not independent media. That's not true. And how do you fund yourself? There's ads on all your.
Anna Casparian says, I can't believe you're repeating this dumb shit. Beth, how do you propose we make money if we don't take corporate adversaries? Adversaries. Be better. I don't know YouTube, but it goes on. Be better. I know you're smarter than this. Well, if you don't take, because corporations make more money than the independent funder. That's why you're doing it. If you would have stuck to your guns and stayed independent, what I'm saying, you could have made it an honest brand. But for a corporation that claims to be independent, and I get it, because it's like if you're an independent musician and then a big record label discovers you, you know what I'm saying? That's different to some degree. You're sitting there putting your music out there, getting your voice be heard, and then someone out there says, you know what? I dig this person's style. I want to give them a chance. So they cut you a big-ass check to say, this is what I want you to do. I get it. But if the corporation you're getting that check from is going against what you originally preached, I'd be going, what's more questionable, your morals or your, you know what I'm saying? And in the middle of a pandemic, I get it. People are going to be desperate. Like, okay, sell out my morals to get this big corporate Democratic paycheck to go against force the votes. If you were getting money from your fan, like $2 million, an average of $2 million from your fans, that's unheard of. Like for a lot of big time YouTubers, that ain't shit. It's chump change. But for a lot of us smaller YouTubers, it's like, God damn, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous.
Your videos, that's more corporate cash. You got it all. If we don't take corporate advertising, be better. I know you're smarter than this. Jesus Christ. Here's Cenk being a maniac. I've been criticizing Pelosi for 18 years now and told every Justice Democrat to oppose her on day one. And they didn't. Not one of them. But you just found a meme online yesterday. Congrats. You're decades late to the party and think you threw it. So somebody said to him, hey, you're a day late and a dollar short, phony, to Cenk. And he goes, I've been criticizing Pelosi for 18 years now and told the Justice Democrats to oppose her on day one. No, you didn't. Today was day one, and you told them all to vote for her. Liar. Abject, bald-faced liar, Cenk Uygur. You told them all to vote for her today because the timing wasn't right. Because you didn't want to give it to this Kevin McCarthy. You didn't want to give the speakership to the GOP. And the timing isn't right. We don't have anybody to replace Nancy Pelosi. You said don't do it. You told them don't do it. You fucking liar. You maniac. Maniac. He does this all in public. That's a true maniac. That's the Glenn Beck side of him. He does it all in public, just like Glenn Beck does it in public. And I always thought, how do the people work for Glenn Beck at Glenn Beck? They all do mental gymnastics. I still talk to them. They all pretend that Cenk isn't as crazy as he is. Some of them. Some of them. So he's been criticizing Pelosi for 18 years and telling the Justice Democrats to oppose her on day one, and she says, "Well, you've clearly done a hell of a job." As he tells them to vote for Nancy Pelosi, he tweets that he told them to not vote for Nancy Pelosi. Could you get any fucking crazier than that? He says, and then after he says, don't do hashtag, don't force a vote, don't do that, don't withhold your vote for Nancy Pelosi. Then literally he tweets this next. This is again, talk about psychological problems. He says, progressives in Congress, wake up. Speaker Pelosi is not on your side and never will be. If you don't start fighting on her on policy positions, then you're going to lose all credibility. She's not your friend. This was January 4th. He put this out. Is today the 4th?
Today's the 4th.
That's today.
He did that at 1:30 a.m. after the vote.
After the vote. After they did what he told them to do. Vote for Nancy Pelosi. He told them to do that. He said, don't force the vote. He told them. They did it. And then he tweeted, you better start fucking opposing. What? And then he tweeted, you better start opposing her, or you're going to lose credibility. I think the people who just lost credibility was the Young Turks. Because even the person underneath, there's Beth again. There's Anna's friend, Beth. She says, what are you doing right now? This is weird. And underneath that, getting whiplash here. Whoa, Cenk Uygur, whoa. Hashtag force the vote is constructive. It's destructive. It's fine strategy. You better fucking do it. You better not do it. Jimmy, you made a mess. Remember when he said that? Nobody knows what he's doing. Nobody knows what he's doing. Replying to Cenk Uygur, hey, but you wanted them to vote for her. No shit, Sherlock. That's what we wanted the squad to vote against her. Dude, he's telling them to do exactly what we've been advocating for them to do, and then he's been telling us that we don't know how politics works. This is insane. Cenk Uygur, you're not the victim here. You turned on Jimmy Dore, and you turned on Jordan, and you turned on me. That's Johnny Graz. Anyone who gets in the way of your ego gets steamrolled. That's true. Here's another guy. Watch this. This is another guy who was Cenk Uygur steamrolled.
Yesterday, I came forward about the racial discrimination that I unfortunately dealt with at the Young Turks, and it certainly wasn't easy to do. My time at the Young Turks.
So there was an African-American man who was racially discriminated at the Young Turks. So just when you think the airport freakout video wasn't enough.
It was both humiliating and unfortunate. In response, my old boss, Cenk Uygur, insinuated that I lied. He couldn't be more wrong. When I went to Cenk for help, he responded by telling me his old boss would tell me to shut the fuck up and I should just deal with it. He also told me complaining about my discrimination complaints was something amounting to a fireable offense.
He told them that if he complained, that was a fireable offense.
Can you believe that shit? Could you imagine working for someone and being told, well, if you complain about the racial bullshit, which should not be in place in the first place, you could get fired for it. If you complain about being treated unfairly because of the color of your skin, you get fired for it. What? In 1950, maybe, yes, but this is 2020. Are you bullshitting me?
I filed a complaint with the New York State Division of Human Rights because it's not right for journalists or anyone of color to be treated this way. The day has come for us to pull back the curtain on what really happens, even in progressive media.
Yeah, even people who, oh my God, dude, no shit. That's what pisses me off about the whole thing is even though you claim to be progressive, there's still traits of racism and sexism in the media. What if Anna Casparian went against Cenk Uyghur's ego? Do you think she would last very long?
Cenk also said yesterday, quote, "We care a great deal about diversity in the workplace. That is part and parcel of what we do." Sadly, the Young Turks couldn't be further from that perceived ethos that he thinks his organization conducts. The Young Turks started their brand writing about African Americans in horrible terms. Their head of HR, Dave Kohler, wrote about Black people in old blog posts discovered last month, quote, "Poor Black people sweating in the sun." That was the same person who investigated my complaints by talking to me on the phone only once about my discriminatory complaints against my supervisor and never talking to me again about what the investigation he conducted resulted in. Cenk Uyghur also said this about Native Americans in those old blog posts, quote, "Those Redskins show up everywhere. There's a buck to be made." And both Cenk and David Kohler joined themselves in shooting bottle rockets at the Martin Luther King Memorial. All those past actions, both Cenk and Dave Kohler never apologized for until they were called out in press last month. So it's not shocking that when I needed help to have my claims of discrimination fully investigated, that there was no help to be found. I was either ignored or told to deal with it. Then I was placed under suspension, and then I was eventually fired/terminated. These terrible practices by the Young Turks are in clear violation of the Civil Rights Act, and it is salient, so important of us to make sure that we hold our employers accountable for when they don't follow the guidelines of such important legislation of equality. I hope my story can be able to be an inspiration for those who are experiencing the same levels of discriminatory behavior that I have unfortunately experienced at the Young Turks. All these words I say here, I truly do mean, and I hope that they can galvanize someone who is enduring the same level of awful behavior from their employer. Thank you all for watching this video, and may you all have a great rest of your day.
So I think it's clear what's going on at the Young Turks, and they've turned into a corporate outlet, and they're trying to keep their progressive cred, and it's obvious they don't have any anymore, that they're just a money funneling organization. They're like televangelists. If you're on their email list, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you watch their show, you know exactly what they're talking about. And now Cenk is trying to pretend that their news brand is lighthearted and fun. The guy's biopic is called Mad as Hell. He now puts out fundraising videos saying, you know, we're progressives, but we do the news in lighthearted and fun. That's literally what he says. My cock almost fell off when I fucking saw that. Hey everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you we join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.
Yeah. Selling out to a corporation, you know, to make more money, I get that. But when you're selling out your own beliefs and then being a racist bigot on top of it and acting like a total fucking diva, I'm just like, YouTube, I'm done. I unsubscribed from the Young Turks. Now I get my news source from Jimmy Dore and Secular Talk, Secular Opinion. Anyways, YouTube, thank you for watching the video. I'll catch you later.